All right, hello and welcome everybody to another cast in Alchemy League Season 7. Alchemy League Season 7 is... Okay, here we go. This is the map draft that we want. It is on Custom Ensemble Studios maps. We did a community rework of these maps. I think we actually inspired the developers to do like an official rework of these Ensemble Studios maps, but this was our idea first. This has been in the planning for a long time. We've got the specs. We've got the date stamps to prove it if anybody cares. But it doesn't really matter. The important thing is that we've got some really awesome maps and that we also inspired other awesome maps to be created. So it's an Age of Empires 2 tournament, 1v1. And it is a play all 2. Standard victory condition, which means you can win with relics, wonders, that sort of thing. We have 2 sets today, so it's 4 games total. As always, we have a different map each game. We try to pick these sets so that they don't overlap in maps or in players. So let's get down to it. The first set is going to be Nope 1585 against Caesar. And the way that this map draft works is that they pick the home map first, or the map of the round, I should say. It's a featured map each round. There are 8 rounds in the league. And this happens to be round 7, and the featured map for that round was Prairie, so therefore they had to pick that first. And then they take turns discarding maps they don't want to play until they're left with one that they do want to play. And in this case, that one is Canals. So we're going to see Prairie and Canals from Nope and Caesar. The Civilization draft is a little bit more standard. 5 admin bans originally, meaning that the computer basically randomly bans 5 civilizations. In this case, Spanish, Huns, Cumans, Armenians, and Mongols getting banned. And then they globally ban 2 civilizations each. Goth, Hindustani, Japanese, and Romans are all banned. And then from that, they pick 3, snipe 1, and then pick 1. And they take turns doing that, obviously. So Nope picks 1, then Caesar picks 1, etc., etc. So Nope's options for civilizations that we're going to see in this set are the Mayans, the Sicilians, and the Persians. And Caesar's options are the Italians, the Chinese, and the Saracens. So let's get started then. Oh, actually, let's not get started because there's one more thing I want to show you. And that is, and I should probably format this. So Nope 1585, upper 1300 ranking. And Caesar is mid 1100 ranking. And I don't think there's any handicap associated with it. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Caesar is going to have a tough go at things. That's a big gap for no handicap, but sometimes that's how it works. And you never know, there could be an upset. There could be a map where it works out really well for Caesar, and Nope doesn't really recognize the map so well. That we have had upsets in the past. All right, so now let's go in and perform the cast. Let's check out the games, guys. I've given an introduction to the league. Thank you all for being here. Okay. So this is on ESR 05 Prairie. This is our Ensemble Studios remastery of the Prairie map. Prairie is significant. You got basically two patches of deer, I should say. You've got kind of limited, you have no boar, limited sheep options, and just a few berry bushes underneath your town center. So, you actually are pretty strapped for food resources. It's tough on this map to play without an eco bonus. We've got Nope 1585 playing as the Cyan Mayans, and he is around 5 o'clock, I would say, and then Caesar around 10 o'clock playing as the Blue Italians. So let's talk about the civilization matchup. Both of these civilizations have an eco bonus of some kind, although the Mayans is probably more of an eco bonus in the strictest sense. Their resources last longer, so as Mayan villagers take resources, they consume less of the actual meat there, which means that they get more out of everything that they harvest, which is really helpful because, Nope is collecting more than 150 food from each of these cows. For Caesar's eco bonus is not really so much an eco bonus as it is an advancement type bonus. His feudal age costs less, so for him it only costs 440 food to go up to the feudal age. So he's going to be able to get up a little bit quicker because it's going to be cheaper for him, but he's still got the same amount of resources to work with. So he's got to be careful how he spends it. I know that this doesn't really look like a lot of chickens, but in the interest of time, these chickens actually have 140 food in them. So they're actually very, very meaty chickens. They're very plump. Maybe they lay a bunch of eggs around where they're standing, and the villagers collect those eggs after they kill the chickens, and that's part of the food. I don't know. Use your imagination, whatever you think is proper. So you can't push the chickens in, so you got to go out there and you got to mill them. But luckily, again, they're worth it because they are so meaty. So I like the choice of Italians on this map. I think Italians have the options of scouts, right? Mayans can't go oh, what is this? Cesar over here trying to lame Nope, taking a little bit of arrow fire to this scout. And now he's going to steal the cow and run away again. Oh, no, this is so annoying. Is Nope going to allow this to happen? Nope is... I think he's just going to let the cow go. Well, we already got quite a bit of action here with Cesar laming the cow. Now, Nope, I think, can see that... Yeah, he can see the scout is here. So he knows he's not going to have to fight for the cow. So he's going to come and look around this way to see if he can find where the cow was sent. Where Nope would have sent... Or where Cesar would have sent the cow. Let's check the fog of war. But Cesar sent the cow over this way. So Nope is still looking for it. Oh, he is going to recover it. Okay. So he gets his cow back. And he can send it home. Well, it was a nice try from Cesar to steal the cow. He needs every little advantage he can get. Nope's got a big elo advantage over him. So anyway, so Cesar has the advantage that he can go for scouts. He can get upgrades on these. He starts with 2 scouts. In Feudal Age, they're a lot more dangerous than eagles inherently. But in Dark Age, eagles are more dangerous, but they're slower. So in Feudal Age, the eagles kind of have to get to a safe point away from the scouts. If that's what Cesar does. Nope is actually very greedily coming out here to take this deer. I'm not so sure about this. I think that Nope would have been better off just pushing these deer. There's like 2 deer here. I don't really know if it's worth it. He could have just pushed it toward his mill. I guess there's 3 deer over here. Oh, he's going to go for the deer. And he's going to push these other deer in toward the mill. But, you know, he's really right in front of his opponent. I'm not so sure that's a great idea. But the food situation on this map is really tricky. So if you don't do it right, I mean, Cesar could be struggling to get out of the Dark Age here if he doesn't have a good build for the map. Okay, it looks like Cesar did manage to click up. He's got Feudal Age queued, going up on 24 pop, which is a little bit late in my opinion. Let's see how Nope is doing with clicking up. Nope has not clicked up. He's at 25 pop, so he clicks up now. The reason that he is a villager ahead is because he's Mayans, so they both have loom. And Nope is going to play this very aggressively. He's going to build a forward barracks, it looks like. What does this barracks mean? Well, given how forward the barracks is, my guess is that Nope is going to go eagles. Eagles could be good on this map. They're not as big of a food investment as scouts. Usually food is the more plentiful resource, but this food is scant on this map. But they require a lot more gold. However, Nope has not gone out to gold. So I'm not exactly sure that he is going to be doing eagles. But then again, he needs gold to make archers too, and he hasn't gone out to gold. Oh, okay, here we go. Alright, so Nope is going out to gold. He's sending 2 villagers initially. I don't know if he'll have to send more than that, but I don't know how many more he's going to send. Cesar's got his 2 scouts here. They will become a lot more powerful as soon as he gets into the Feudal Age. Does Cesar know about Nope's greedy deer camp in the front? No, he doesn't. Well, actually, he can see the dead deer on the minimap, the same way that we can. So if he sees these deer carcasses, he'll get suspicious, and now he spots the barracks. So Cesar knows that Nope is up to no good. And Nope building an archery range. Okay, so it is going to be archers. It's going to be archers versus scouts. Cesar going scouts. He's building the stable now. And he's got some scouts queued up. Scouts eco is much better, but scouts are easier to counter. Nope has just made a spearman right here. Cesar has to get away from that. I wonder if Cesar's sending this villager to fight it. So Cesar's going to need an answer to these spearmen. Otherwise, Nope is just going to keep pumping spearmen out. Let's see what Nope's production queue looks like. I actually got to hit this twice before I almost forgot. So we can look at the production queue, and I'll hit down here too so that we can look at villager count, population, and that sort of thing. Yeah, this is the best screen for that. My computer is too old for capture age, sadly. Alright, so Caesar, he is going to try and get some damage in on his opponent. He's sending 3 scouts over this way for a raiding party. If he could get in on this wood line, he could do a lot of damage maybe with the scouts. Scouts have no upgrades. Let's see what Nope has got. He's got 2 archers, but Nope is housed. He may be distracted at home. So these 3 scouts represent the creation of only 1 scout in addition to the starting scouts. So I think Caesar's kind of working on his economy here. Or maybe he decided not to invest anymore. He may have seen the archery range and decided to make archers of his own. So here's an archer from Caesar. And he needs to focus the spearmen. He built that stable and he built it for 1 scout? Really? 1 scout only? Alright, he's building a blacksmith now. Maybe he's waiting for upgrades before attacking with the scouts. It is a very open map. It's pretty much impossible to wall. So, you know, he's not really in much of a hurry to get in here. Yeah, I think he's waiting for upgrades. Caesar getting archer... what? Getting archer armor first? According to this, he already has the armor. Yeah, that can't be right. I don't know what happened there. Alright, so Nope's got 4 archers. He's got an eagle and he has a spearman. And meanwhile, Caesar's army is here waiting to engage. Caesar has to withdraw. He cannot hold this position. 4 archers can, like, 2-shot, with fletching, can 2-shot a villager if they all hit. So he's got to withdraw from this area. Nope has taken Caesar off of the wood line, and Caesar even had to leave a little bit of chicken behind too. Now, interestingly enough, Caesar has decided to take this gold for whatever reason. It's further away from his town, but it puts a tower on his wood line. Maybe he feels like the wood line is a little bit safer with the tower here. I don't know if Nope knows about Caesar's activity on that gold. I don't think he does. Yeah, Nope does not know that Caesar is over here at all. He'll assume that Caesar is taking gold, or not taking gold, but taking wood somewhere. And you get 2 or 3 forests on this map, so he's found 2, and he knows the other one is over here, so he will go over there and look for that wood line. And as Nope is coming in, he's going to see that Caesar is walling here. And Nope's like, hey, get out of there. He gets 1 villager. He gets 2 villagers. And then all of these villagers have to leave the wood line. And no, Caesar, you can't fight this. Caesar, no. He fights the archers. He has a few archers of his own to help out, and he does kill it at great cost. So Caesar is 8 villagers behind Nope. And dropping. He's got a lot of weak villagers here, and Nope is focusing them down. Caesar continuing to fight. Nope has 1 more. Okay, archer just went down. Now, did Nope... looks like there's some corpses here, so it looks like Caesar did come in and strike. But Nope definitely hit him much harder. Considering the vill count is 39 for Nope and 26 for Caesar. So Caesar 13 villagers behind Nope, which is probably GG territory this early in the game. But you never know. Maybe Caesar can somehow turn it around. Nope's resources. He's got 600 food and 366 gold. Let's take a look at Caesar's resources. Caesar's actually not too far away from clicking up himself. So that might be something that he's holding on to. He might say, oh, you know, I got the resources to keep making units, and I might be able to get up soon, so I'm just going to hang in there. Maybe I can get up before my opponent. Maybe he overinvested into Feudal Age. And Caesar does have an army of archers here. But Nope has an army of archers too. But Nope is running. Actually, Nope is building a tower. So Nope doesn't want to make any more archers, which tells me that Nope is on his way up to the castle age. Yes, he's on his way to the castle age. I don't know if he's going to switch into eagles. I don't think he needs to. But why not build up more military if you're going to the castle age, unless you're going to make eagles? Yeah, Nope is making eagles. So switching over to Nope's point of view, he's getting the armor upgrade for infantry. He's currently building eagles, and he is on his way up to the castle age. No, Caesar! Alright, Caesar's got to swing around and hit the wood line here. And Nope should totally be evacuating right now. Like, where else are these archers going to go? Okay, he kind of starts to evacuate. No, Caesar, they're getting away! Caesar stopped to give Nope time to clear out, which was nice of him. I don't know why. He must have been looking away, managing his eco, maybe calling up reinforcements or something. But that could have been like 3 or 4 dead villagers right there. But luckily for Nope, Caesar didn't react very quickly either. So Nope didn't react, Caesar didn't react. So I guess it's a wash. Nope, castle age. Caesar's going to be castle age in a few seconds, actually. So I guess he's not too worried about that. I don't think Caesar knows about the eagle switch, but he's going to see this barracks with the flags on it. And that's the second barracks that he knows about, at least. Maybe even the third. So he should be suspicious. He should be suspicious of eagles. Barracks with flags. Might be able to focus down this one eagle. Here comes some more eagles. Here's another eagle. Oh, but it's weak. And he's got a big army of archers here. So he needs to combine his armies. And then he might have a chance. Nope, backs off. Alright, so Caesar's in the castle age. Caesar needs to get crossbowmen. He needs to get bodkin. But he's tech switching into knights. He sees the eagles and he decides not to go archers. Decides on going knights. So luckily for Caesar, he already has a blacksmith. So I don't know how much he cares about these archers. Probably not very much anymore if he's going into knights. Nope is making a siege workshop. And these eagles so far are very defensive. Yeah, I think that Caesar should just pull these archers back. He can actually micro down some eagles and buy himself some time to build his army of knights, but really these archers be very effective. Oh, he did upgrade them to crossbowmen, okay. And did he get bodkin? He did. So yeah, I think that's the right call. I think it's the right thing to do to try to keep these alive as long as possible. They'll kill the pikemen. They'll threaten his knights. Doesn't look like he's making any more knights now. He keeps on changing his mind. He made one knight and got the armor for the knights. And now he's got... No, 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 no! Caesar, run! Run! Oh, big hit. Big hit, takes down 5 crossbows. He does manage to destroy the mangonel, though. He's getting bloodlines, and he's building a second knight. So he's getting all of these upgrades for 2 knights so far. Seems like Caesar would love the Chinese. They have cheaper technologies. They're very good at tech switching. Sees the mangonel and has to back off. Could use a monk or something to heal his boys. But I've been impressed with how Caesar is playing this. I think he's bounced back. I mean, is he in as good of a position as Nope? No way. He took heavy villager losses earlier, and he's probably looking back saying, "Ah, dang, if only I'd pulled those villagers out of there a few seconds earlier, I could have a lot more than I do right now." But he's playing aggressively, and he has Nope on the defensive. Nope has expanded out this way to gold, and Nope has added another TC back here for some sneaky eco. So this town center will help Nope expand his economy lead, and Caesar has no idea about it. He does not know that Nope is doing this over here. Caesar going to come back and be chill. At least come over here and damage the buildings or something. If you don't want your opponent to know about the knights, then you should not attack the buildings, though. And I think he wants the knights to be a surprise. But at the very least, he could attack these buildings with the archers. He might even consider building a siege workshop and making a ram and just ramming the buildings down just to get rid of them. So this is going to work out well for Caesar. He's got enough knights to deal with all of these. I don't even think he needs the crossbows. He's going to see... Yeah, he sees the mangonels. So the knights are going to charge in on the mangonels to prevent them from getting... Oh! That was very unfortunate for Caesar. And it totally didn't... Like, he didn't need it. You know, he didn't need it. The knights would have won against the eagles anyway. And just lost all of his crossbows for nothing. That hurts. But he did win the fight. At least he won the fight. More eagles here. I'd love to see a forward monastery to heal up these knights. Maybe a siege workshop. Caesar could do that Huang thing. That could be pretty effective against what Nope is doing. Because Nope has 2 town centers. So Nope has some obligations to spend some resources and grow its economy. Whereas Caesar doesn't. Caesar is adding another town center now, which I think is a mistake. I think he should just go all in. You know you're behind. And just try to kill your opponent. Take map control. He's got these knights out here looking for a raid. Eagles can do okay against knights if the numbers are favorable. If they have slightly greater numbers, at least equal numbers to slightly greater. Knights are inherently more powerful, though, and will win in lower numbers. I don't think the eagles have very good upgrades. Let's take a look. Yeah, the eagles just have feudal age upgrades. So that explains why these knights were able to power him down so efficiently. It's like Caesar's out of gold up here. He's got to refresh his mining camp. But hats off to Caesar. He's put in quite a good scrap here against Nope. If I were in Caesar's position, I would have resigned a long time ago. I would have been like, oh, well, there goes half my wood line. I guess I can't win anymore. But Caesar, he's still trying. And why not, right? I mean, how often... And I've said this before to folks. And I think it's true outside of Age of Empires. It's true with anything. You know, if you want to get better at anything, if you want to learn, the best way to do that is by interacting with, having access to, and being challenged by people who are better than you. Alright, so if you want to learn about particle physics, find a particle physics professor. You know, if you want to learn about religion, find one of those theologians or scholars or something like that. And if you want to be better at Age of Empires, play an Alchemy League, because chances are you're going to get matched up against somebody that's 200, 300 elo than you, higher than you, something you won't see in ranked. And that's kind of what Caesar is doing. He's using this as an opportunity to get free information about what to do. It's still painful. It's not as painful as it could be, right? We could have Caesar up against some 2K player or something like that. That would just be absurd. That would be a waste of time for everybody. But this elo gap is not so large that it's completely miserable. Still, you know, it's still a hard challenge, but it's large enough to be a good challenge. Caesar's holding his own. He's got the score lead right now, but Nope's eco is larger. Caesar only has 54 villagers. Nope has 80 villagers. And Nope trying to bring in the relics, you know, doing the right thing with the relics. That's good. You can win with the relics. Now, he may not be Aztecs, he might be the Mayans, but still, a relic is a relic. It's like having a free gold miner that's just standing there taking gold for forever. No upgrades or anything, but it doesn't have to walk back to the mining camp, and you don't have to protect it. Or, well, you do, but it's in a monastery. It's easier to protect. Monk trying to get a conversion here. And we have 3 knights. I wonder if Caesar has 3 stables. Yep. It kind of looked like he did. I think Caesar should really focus on some other unit variety. If he... I mean, this many knights... I feel like this is too many knights to raid with, really. You could send a knight over here, a knight... You know, a knight over here or something, and be a nuisance, but this is too many knights to raid with. This is a serious attack kind of thing where you need a few support units, maybe a couple monks to heal them, maybe some rams to tear down some buildings, maybe a scorpion to help mitigate losses against pikemen, that sort of thing. And he cleans up Nope's army again. Good knights. I mean, they have all the upgrades. They have the attack upgrades, the defense upgrades. They've got bloodlines. I would not fight this. Because the other thing too about Age of Empires is you kind of gotta ask yourself, what are you fighting for? You know, what does taking this fight get me? Does taking this fight allow me to control a certain area of the map so that I can pressure my opponent from that location, or is it just fighting for the sake of fighting? Because if it's fighting for the sake of fighting, it's just a waste of time. You might as well just run away. Because your opponent isn't going to get anything if you don't fight them. But if you do fight them and you have more expensive units and you trade equally or you lose, then it's still a loss. It's like Nope has added some crossbows here. Sorry. Caesar has added some crossbows. To help with the pikemen. Yeah, I'd really love to see something from Caesar that shows that he's serious about an attack. Maybe some siege weapons or something like that. Alright, Nope pretty expertly controlling the army here, getting the eagles to fight the crossbows because the eagles have better pierce armor. And the pikemen to chase the knights. Caesar just running through the town, taking some free hits and whacks. I don't know that it's worth it. But, you know, Caesar could win this. If he plays this right, he is in a position where he could win this. Here's how Caesar wins. You ready? Caesar wins by keeping this army together. He moves the army to this location and secures this area. He drops a castle right here. Right on this gold, separating Nope's base, essentially. He then sells all of his wood and goes up to Imperial Age and defends this area, collects resources while going Imp, makes a Treb or two, gets Cavalier or something. There's a lot of different ways for Caesar to win, I feel. He's actually doing better than he realizes. He's got a ton of army. But now Nope is Imperial Age. Nope is making a castle. Nope has a ton of pikemen that are being upgraded to Halberdier probably pretty soon. Caesar trying to prevent this castle, but I think Nope got too much of a head start on it. And yeah, the castle does go up. He's able to kill a number of villagers, but he does need to withdraw here. It's not worth it. Again, doesn't get anything from winning this fight. Castle will stay up, even if he kills all of these units around, and Caesar calls the GG. Caesar was almost ready to click up himself. I thought that was a good game. I think this is a story of Caesar getting set back, but actually bouncing back and not realizing how well he had bounced back. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's take a look at the statistics before going on to the second game. So yeah, see, look at this KD. This is the KD of a victor right here. Caesar with a way better kill-to-death ratio. And a larger army, too. He had control of the map for most of the game. Most of the Castle Age, I should say. Nope had a way better Feudal Age than Caesar did. and that caused Caesar to play cautiously. Nope captured 4 of the 5 relics. He was just missing 1, and he boomed up to 100 villagers, but Caesar was only at 67. Alright, so now the second game. They play on canals. Canals was made by a friend of mine, Zetnus. Oh! This is not canals. Oops. Here we go. Canals. So Canals was made by a friend of mine, Zetnus, for Alchemy League Season 7. We commissioned the map from him. It is a remaster of the original Ensemble Studios map, Canals. I believe it's ESR 01, actually. And what makes it significant is you have connections between the players, where there is just a long tract of water between these two players. A couple points of crossing, and some fish, and some oysters. It does look like a Finger Lake. Now, in larger player configurations, these canals will be, there'll be a network of them all over the map. The other thing that makes our canals different from the legacy canals, and actually I think the remastered canals as well, are the presence of hills. We've got hills on our canals. Pretty special stuff. Hills make scout fights more interesting, because you only have one scout, right? So on a perfectly flat map, if your scout doesn't get the first hit, the enemy scout gets the first hit. You can never do anything about that except run back home. Now, on this canals map, if their scout got the first hit, but you're able to bring that scout up against a hill and take a hill advantage, then you can actually still win the scout fight, despite not getting the first hit. So hills have implications to make scout fights much more interesting. So Nope, let's talk about the players. Nope is at 7 o'clock, and he is playing as the Cyan Persians. And then Caesar is at about 12 o'clock, maybe a little after, and he's playing as the Blue Saracens. So the Saracens do not have an eco bonus, but they have a lot of really other great bonuses. They're known as a camel civilization, but they've got solid monks, and they have a unique archer bonus that allows their archers to do more damage to buildings. So it's actually quite interesting. So I don't know if Caesar will go scouts or if he will go archers. But Persians have a lot of solid economic bonuses. And that makes them kind of easy to play. And they're good with brute force. I don't know what they'll do. They might fight over the water. Although the water is a little bit awkward to fight because it's just a canal. It's just one long Finger Lake, as described by Cookie Pirate. Not really a lot of space to maneuver here. And a lot of times people like to dock block this canal. Build some docks so that your opponent can't get in here and harass your fishing ships. It's generally a very good idea. Oh, look at this. Nope, laming this villager. That's ruthless. So Caesar coming out to take the boar. That is brutal. That's very unfortunate for Caesar that Nope happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time for him. We got a little family of boars right here. I haven't seen anybody lure any bonus boars or anything like that on this map. Although these boars, in theory, Nope might be able to do like a triple boar lure of these if he knew about that. But we haven't seen it yet, which he does. He does know about these boars, so he could attempt a triple boar lure. But I don't think he's going to. All right, no dock from Caesar yet. So this tells me that Caesar is really going for a very aggressive archer's push. Let's take a look at Caesar's resources to see how far he is from that. He needs just a little bit more food. Oh, dang. He didn't quite have enough food. That sucks. So he's coming out here and he's milling the chickens. And he's force-dropping the berries. He does not want to make another villager. He wants to just click up. Come on, Caesar. All right, there we go. All right, he gets the food that he needs, and then he clicks up. So right now, he should be sending a bunch of villagers to wood, and he should be building a mining camp now. Okay, and yep, he's building another lumber camp. That's okay. But he needs to get over here and build a mining camp too. And he needs to build it with like 2 villagers. And he also needs a barracks. He needs a lot of things. He's only on 20 pop. So I guess the archer build is like a standard 22 pop archers. It's pretty common, but he hasn't built a barracks yet. So Caesar is going to have to build a barracks before he can build an archery range. It didn't help that he had to build a second mill to get the chickens as soon as possible. Chickens are just the worst. It's really nice being able to push that food in underneath your town center. At least I think he's going archers. Maybe he's going scouts. I don't know. He's nowhere near the gold. He is at least building a barracks, so that means he's going something. Nope is here loitering at the front of the base. He's probably a little bit surprised that there's no dock. I bet Nope came over here to check that out specifically. He's like, better figure out if my opponent is docking. Alright, so Caesar's feudal age time is better than Nope's. I mean, it makes sense. Nope built a dock and invested time in making fishing ships, and Caesar did not. Alright, here's the archery range for Caesar. So he is going to go the Saracen archers. That's an interesting choice, I think. So he definitely needs to get onto gold then. And you should also try to wall a little bit better too. Maybe wall to this and then this. Nope has walled, but these walls don't really mean much against Saracen archers. Ooh! Look at that. Caesar picking off. He recognizes that Nope doesn't have a lot of villagers in this town center. And Caesar should totally go back and finish off that villager. In fact, I think he's going to see it. He sees it. He's very active in micro, and he kills 2 villagers. I can't believe this. Caesar getting some revenge. Wow. And what is Nope doing? Nope is sending all these villagers to chop this straggler. So now, if Caesar runs underneath his town center again, that scout will get wrecked. So Nope is actually fast castling, which is why he doesn't have anything right now. Looks like he managed to fight off the scout. He's the Persians, he's got faster working docks, faster working town centers, etc., etc., etc. So Caesar needs to be moving along here. He's got the 2 ranges built, and it looks like he's made an archer, but I think he might be a little bit too slow with the build. He had too many delays. He had to build that mill for the chickens. He hasn't even built a mining camp yet. Caesar is having a rough build here for whatever reason. Oh, no, he has built a mining camp. All right, I'm sorry. It's over here. I wonder why he does that. I wasn't even looking for this here. I'm wondering if Caesar does that because he doesn't want his opponent scouting his mining camp. I guess it worked, right? Nope is looking all around and he can't find where Caesar is taking gold. Sees that Caesar isn't taking gold here. Oh, he comes back to snipe the farm. That could have been a mistake. Almost lost his scout. He scouts that there's a gold here, but he doesn't scout a mining camp on that. So he doesn't know where Caesar is taking gold until maybe ever. Okay, now he finds it. He finds Caesar's gold now. Maybe this trick works really well at Caesar's, elo, because 1100s don't have as good a scouting as people that are in their upper 1300s. And Nope has actually gotten really good since he joined Alchemy League. All right, so Nope scouted the 2 archery ranges, so he knows all about that. And he's like, well, all right, well, I'm going to build a stable, make some knights. I'm Persians. My knights get +2 attack versus archers. So his knights are very good against archers. And Caesar, 16 minutes into the game, still has not gotten any archers. Okay, here they are. They're finally starting to arrive, the Saracen archers. Do they have fletching? All right, they have fletching. And he's going to go after these boats. They're not very damaging. Now, luckily for Caesar, this knight does not have any armor. So he can't fight it very effectively. And Caesar can push back 1 knight. But Nope should totally get some armor. If he had +2 armor, these 2 knights would be able to kill everything here. But he doesn't have any armor. He's building a monastery so that he can heal his injured knight, which is kind of funny. And he's making galleys, which is also kind of funny. I don't ascribe to this idea that he should be killing the ships, the fishing ships with the archers. That doesn't really work. I think he should try to get in here on this gold. Fishing ships just have 4 pierce armor, right? And these villagers have 2. And these archers have 4 attack. So basically that means that each archer does 1 damage per arrow to this fishing ship. Persians knights with the extra attack. Kill the archer in a single archer in 3 hits, I believe. And he almost loses another knight. Nope is going to micro the weak one back and send the full HP one forward. And I think Caesar needs to try something different here. I think there was too much delay. Nope is going to add another town center. But Caesar needs to focus on getting up to the next stage. He's got a lot of wood, actually. He's building a tower in the front of his base. He should totally stonewall. He should stonewall this. He should stonewall this. And if he's got any stone left over, he should stonewall this. Don't let those knights get in your base. He can't really stop them. His archers are not doing too well. It's not really worth microing at this point. There's not enough of them. Heavy eco imbalance. You could always build and for Saracens actually it's cheaper. You could build a market, and he could actually click up right now if he wanted to, using the market as Saracens. Saracens get better deals at the market because they were very cosmopolitan. They had good bazaars, they call them, or bazaars. So Caesar should throw down a market, should sell all this wood, not all of it, but some of it, and then buy up to the next stage. Because this scout right here, if I'm Caesar and I see this scout just kind of sitting here, I'm like, uh-oh. It's only a matter of time before the knights come up this way. Oh, or something worse. It looks like it is something worse. Okay, Caesar is clicked up now. No, it's not. He's just building a town center. Alright, well then that's not so bad. What in the world? Okay, he's got an imam healing this knight here. He's going to collect some relics. But you don't want to let your opponent just like sit there and watch you. And Caesar's like, get out of here. Comes over with the villagers and shanks that scout down. Oh, okay, Nope is trying to get in over here. He really should just come around, come in this way. It's much easier. Alright, well, 75% of the way up to the Castle Age. What does Caesar do with it? I mean, seeing this many knights on the field, camels make a lot of sense. But he's still making archers. To be fair, in his defense, these knights have no defensive upgrades, but archers long-term against Persians, it just doesn't make much sense because they're such a powerful cavalry civilization. Well, we'll see. Maybe he'll throw down a monastery or something, that'll help him deal with this. He's also going more heavily on gold, and he's Castle Age. He's getting crossbowmen. He's getting bodkin. And I guess he's just going to hang out here. Hang out, get thumb ring, make more archers. Let's check out the villager difference. So Nope has 62 villagers and Caesar has 39. So once again, Nope is doing the whole booming thing. And I think that Caesar should punish that. I think Caesar should throw down 2 stables. He should get at least the first cavalry armor upgrade. He should start pumping out camels. He should send forward... Imagine if he had 6 camels right now. It probably still wouldn't be enough. But it'd be cool to see Caesar push with a forward siege workshop. Crazy Joe. He comes to the stream quite often. He likes forward siege as well. Aha! Alright. We got a stable, so maybe he's thinking about it. Oh, look at this. Nope has triggered the relic countdown. Nope has gotten all the relics, and he'll win in about 193 years if Caesar's not careful. So Caesar walking into a recently constructed castle. Has to withdraw. See some knights. Yeah, this is not a good fight. Caesar gonna get surrounded, and he calls the GG. His army is about to be defeated. Again, I think there was some opportunity there for Caesar, but his opponent has the relic victory going. Caesar was just up to Castle Age so late, and I don't think there's any excuse for it. Like Saracens, but no market. He might have been a little flustered by his opponent, although his opponent fast-castled. So maybe he's flustered by the last game. Nevertheless, it was an entertaining set to watch, and I'm glad that I casted it and that both these players are participating in the league. Yeah, look at this kill-to-death ratio for Nope. This is definitely Persian Knights versus Archers. Nope with a better economy across the board. Caesar with a slightly better feudal age. Nope with a significantly better, like a 10-minute advantage in Castle Age. 10 minutes was Nope in Castle Age. And Caesar was hanging out in feudal age. Nope with better map exploration. He collected 5 relics and had a villager high of 73. GG's. Alright, so for this next set... it's going to be Niaz versus Mr. Oso VC8. Let me close these tabs down. Hold on one sec. Alright, so we got Paradise Islands as the first map, and then we have Seasons as the second map. So that'll be interesting. Niaz has the options of Malians, Georgians, or Italians, and Mr. Oso VC8 has the option of Mongols, Malay, or Celts. I just want to show where these players are at. So Niaz is our #1 seed, and he is estimated around 2.4k, and Mr. Oso VC8 is our #2 seed. And he is estimated around 2.3k. So, he's kind of getting there, close to being a good, worthy opponent of Niaz. Niaz, I think, last season, he didn't really have a lot of people that were close to his skill, but Mr. Oso and Roderick's are kind of getting there. Hopefully maybe give him a challenge, although Niaz is still, 2.4K is still an advantage over 2.3K. Niaz is from France, and Mr. Oso VC8 is from Mexico. So this is from round 5, so it was a little while ago, but we should be able to load in all right. And we'll change the overlay back. So Paradise Island. This was made by Magico and I. What do you need to know about this map? Well, it's similar to the Legacy Paradise Island by Ensemble Studios. You kind of got some wolf-class animals guarding Predator, guarding the coastline. So you got to be a little bit careful about going out here to dock. The fish, there's some fish, but they're not great. It's not a lot of fish. You've got this ring in the center, and you've got a lagoon. Well, that's what the ring is, and the sanctuary. Now, this lagoon is undockable. Can't dock on it. But you can build in the sanctuary. And the sanctuary contains all the relics on the map, which is important because you only get one primary gold and a primary stone and a secondary stone over here. And then if you're lucky, there might be like a neutral gold somewhere out there, but not a lot of it. And it looks like Niaz coming over here to lame. He comes over here to lame. Now, this is creative, so gonna have to be careful. He's Malians. And of course Mr. Oso is punishing this. He's trying to micro in front of, and he just barely manages to escape. Well, that's really annoying for Mr. Oso. So Niaz has a 1 HP villager. Barely managed to get out of there alive. But he was able to kill these 3 deer so that Mr. Oso could not push them in. And now Niaz is going to come back. That requires a lot of micro right there. And it was very risky, but it paid off. So Mr. Oso is the Malay. Malay are a scary sim to play against. So really, I get why Niaz would want to do that. And Niaz playing as the Blue Malians. Oh boy. And Niaz is trying to wall out this tiger. He does de-aggro the tiger, which is pretty impressive, but the tiger, well, the tiger still wants a piece of that villager. It's going to wall her in. Alright, he is going to manage to get this dock up. Coming out here and not getting loom, that's very bold. Niaz really looking to entertain us, and we are entertained. That was quite suspenseful. Almost lost 2 villagers so far this game. So I'm wondering what Niaz sees in the Malians. Well, buildings cost less wood, and I think with the Malians, gold mines last longer or something. Let's go over and check their tech tree. I know it was changed. Barracks units get more pierce armor. Villagers drop off 10% more gold. So maybe Niaz is figuring I can get a little bit more gold out of these gold mines, and gold is a pretty limited resource. Oh, he wants to save the villager. He blocks the tiger with the scout so the villager can get away. Tiger gets another hit, but he manages to save the villager. Very, very bold. Doesn't want to get loom because he doesn't want to be 1 villager behind his opponent. Has Mr. Oso gotten loom? He has. Mr. Oso's like, I'm just not going to mess with this. I'm going to get loom. I'm not going to take any chances. And it looks like, I don't know what happened here, but he almost lost a villager there. Let's check their villager count. It looks like Niaz is 2 villagers ahead of Mr. Oso. So, Mr. Oso, that's because Mr. Oso has gotten loom and Niaz has not. But also, Mr. Oso may have lost a villager. I'm not sure. Didn't see it. Too busy watching Niaz show off. Yeah, I was over here checking out the back of Mr. Oso's base. See what he... Okay, so he does find the house. And he's going to come over here to see if there's a wounded villager, which there is. Now, he can't get to it, but he can camp this area and try to be mindful of it and get that villager later. He also knows that there's a dock. And usually there are docks. People dock on this, you just have to be careful. It's tricky. And Mr. Oso doing the same thing to Niaz. 3 fishing ships for Niaz, 3 fishing ships for Mr. Oso. And Niaz, he has made a barracks, and he's sending 3 over to gold here. And Niaz is on his way up to the feudal age. And I think, okay, he's going to queue up another militia, and he's going to go man-at-arms. I'm pretty sure this is man-at-arms. Now, Mr. Oso running by, you know, he sees it. So he knows that that's what his opponent is doing. So I actually should mention that you can't dock this here. There's no fish here. You can't dock it, which is why you have this special transport ship. This transport ship is not invincible, but it's infinitely respawnable. And so if it's destroyed, anything that's in it will die, but it will respawn and it'll come right back. And so here are some villagers coming over here. And it looks like Mr. Oso never... Yeah, he never went for these deer. He's just like, alright, well, so much for that. It's Malay. And it makes sense, right? I mean, he might as well just go for the fish. There's enough food. Didn't really need it. So Nia's sneaking over here to build a tower on Mr. Oso VC8's gold. And it makes sense. It's the only gold Mr. Oso has. So he's doing... Niaz is doing the man-at-arms plus tower. These man-at-arms have an extra pierce armor because they are Malian man-at-arms. And Niaz will probably try to add the next armor when he can. Although he's building a fire galley so that he can go mess with his opponent's fishing opportunities. Alright, so now Mr. Oso VC8 has discovered Niaz's treachery in building a tower here. And Niaz is going to surround this tower with palisade walls to make it even more difficult to shank down. And what do you do if you're Mr. Oso? Well, I guess you come out here to stone. And the villager train, here it comes. And you build a defensive tower or 2, but then you build a market and you basically sell all the stone. And you get your gold that way. Because there's not much he can do about this tower now. And here comes some man-at-arms. And Mr. Oso, I don't know if he sees that. Oh, okay, alright. He's got some archers here, so he's not too worried about the man-at-arms stopping. These man-at-arms are looking for some more damage. And the 2 villagers from Niaz are going to head back. Mr. Oso leading the man-at-arms back to the town center. It's not really a ton of ranged units here, and these are Malian man-at-arms. So you can't really fight them too directly. You do have to give them space. Mr. Oso giving up. I'm wondering if Mr. Oso is going to go on the offensive. He's been on the defensive a lot lately. They are tied in villagers. That could change, though, because Niaz shows up with a fire galley, finally. And let's see if Mr. Oso has anything in queue for ships. Nope, doesn't have anything in queue for ships. He's a little strapped for resources. He's taking stone. Okay, this is interesting. So Mr. Oso has actually built a tower and then garrisoned it. And that's the plan to get back on gold. It's not actually to sell the stone, it's to... I mean, he built a few towers, but it's to get a tower of his own up to shoot down Niaz's tower. And I think Niaz is not worried about it. He's just going to solidify his position. He's built a couple of outposts here to keep an eye on in case Mr. Oso lands him with the transport ship. And so now Mr. Oso can go back onto his gold. That's actually a clever idea. Neon's continuing to be annoying with the man-at-arms in Mr. Oso's base. But, yeah, Neon's letting the man-at-arms die. As soon as the man-at-arms die, Mr. Oso is going to use this army against Niaz. He's going to come over here. But I think Niaz is ready for it. He's got a couple of outposts. He's got some walls. Let's take a look at Niaz's resources. He's transitioning into archers anyway, which is actually kind of a weird choice. Now, luckily for Niaz, Mr. Oso is choosing to attack from the same side that Niaz's production buildings are on. Oh, Niaz, he missed this boar. He's going to see that here and be like, oh, I have a boar. So he's going to finish building these walls, and he's probably going to lure the boar back to his town center. I believe you get 3 boar on this map instead of the usual 2. Oh, okay. He only took... You do get the 2 boar. So he's like, yeah, I just realized. I have another boar I can take. I don't know what rises means. Maybe it's just laughter. They both have got a laughter taunt. Maybe these guys know each other well. Maybe they're friends. No. Yeah, so Nia's taking the boar, and he's on his way up to the Castle Age. Alright, what's Mr. Oso up to? Mr. Oso has actually just clicked up to Castle Age himself. As the Mully is like, well, you know, Mr. Niaz, it looks like he's done. I'm gonna hang back, get up to Castle Age, and get the upgrades, and then fight. So, Niaz clicked first, but as you can see, Mr. Oso is closing the gap. He's catching up. He's probably not going to get there first, but it's not going to be as far apart as it looks. And that's because of the Malay privilege. What is this? There's a single man-at-arms in this transport ship. I'm wondering what that's all about. If it's just it could just be a diversion from Niaz. Nope, he's going to show the man-at-arms. And the man-at-arms is just going to kind of wander around here. And I think maybe it's just here to just check out what Mr. Oso has. Is this man-at-arms going to get a kill? It gets a kill. I can't believe it. It's amazing. Alright, so Mr. Oso going for a castle drop on Niaz's gold. This is brutal. Now, Niaz has the army to contest it, but, you know, Mr. Oso also has some army here. It's actually kind of... Look at them both. Like, they're both using these transport ships. One is trying to block the other's transport ship, and Niaz is using it as, like, some escape route to, like, garrison in it, confuse the enemy's archers. And Mr. Oso really wants to get this castle up. And all the villagers get killed. Niaz is able to target all the villagers and stop it, so naturally that means you gotta send everybody. So Mr. Oso's sending the rest of the town to finish this. And Niaz knows that this castle is close enough to completion that Mr. Oso will come here and finish it. Finish the job. And I think what Mr. Oso should do after finishing this castle is build a monastery and just get the relics. Although Niaz is actually already over here thinking about the relics. He's going to send his archers around to help this villager out, maybe? Or maybe this is just a raid. He's building a monastery on the sanctuary. Here come the crossbows. Mr. Oso sees it. Deletes a palisade to get out. Sacrifice a villager. Crossbows do take a lot of damage. But he did kill a villager with that. And we got karambits from Mr. Oso. Oh my goodness. That is quite a twist. And a forward siege workshop. So Nia's adding a town center on this stone. And he's heavily on stone. He's probably going to be... He's not going to be using a tower to remove this castle, that's for sure. And there is still some gold left here. So Mr. Oso could potentially go to that gold. He sent his skirmishers back to eliminate these crossbows. And Mr. Oso looks like he's interested in this stone. He must have scouted... Alright, he's going to see this monastery now. So now Mr. Oso knows that Niaz is over here taking some relics. The transport ship is unconvertible, thankfully, for Mr. Oso. That would be pretty awkward. If the transport ship got converted, you basically could never convert it back because your opponent would just delete it right before. And Niaz is going to build a castle of his own to prevent Mr. Oso from continuing to rampage through his town. Mr. Oso's got a mangonel working on this town center. I really think Mr. Oso should... Yeah, alright, here he is. So he's going to come and going to try to get these monks. Niaz hasn't spotted it yet. Not much he can do. He's sending the transport ship around. Maybe he can escape. But the monk goes down. And the Krambits are going to try to sink the transport, but the transport will just regenerate. So it's not really worth it. Might think it's some great victory to destroy this transport ship, but can't really. So now Mr. Oso is going to go after this monastery. He does not want his opponent getting gold. And Niaz is strapped for resources, but he does have 53 villagers. And Mr. Oso only has 32. So Mr. Oso is doing all of this aggression on 32 villagers, and what in the world have we got here? We've got Niaz is going to go for the castle drop on the sanctuary, boys and girls. Look at that. He loads up this transport ship, and here are some villagers. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. And Mr. Osa's like, better stop this. Oh no, there's too many rocks. The rocks. He just walks past the rocks. I think this castle will go up, though. Okay, the castle does go up. And Mr. Oso is forced to get out of there. Everybody hitching a ride in the dune buggy here. Or in the boat, I should say. And if I were Mr. Oso, I would at least try to destroy this monastery and make my opponent rebuild it. But he might consider it futile. So Nia is building a castle on the sanctuary just to keep this monastery safe. That was pretty funny. Now, Mr. Oso is going to roll forward and he's going to discover this castle here. Oh no! So he does lose a mangonel to that, so he's just going to work on the university instead. And Mr. Oso calls the GG. What? That's with Niaz triggering the relic victory. He figures Niaz can just rebuild that. Even if he manages to destroy this monastery, Niaz can still rebuild the monastery underneath his castle, and he can't stop it. So Mr. Oso VC8 resigns. Let's take a look at his resources. What were his resources at? I don't know. I don't think this was over, because Niaz was not anywhere near the Imperial Age. Yeah, Niaz was not in the Imperial Age at all. He was making Gabetos, but so what? Making a couple Gabetos? Let's go over to the statistics and see if that can explain why Mr. Oso resigned. So relatively even KD. More buildings raised for Mr. Oso. 2 buildings lost. 1 conversion, largest army 25. Of course, Niaz has a much larger economy. That makes sense. Mr. Oso faster to the feudal age. Niaz faster to the castle age. Niaz with 2 castles and 6 relics captured. He already had 700 relic gold. Villager high of 63 to 44. Yeah, I don't think this was over yet. I don't think it was over. I think that was premature. But then again, we could see everything. And Mr. Oso could not. So now we're going to cast their next game, which is, let's see, Seasons, right here. Seasons was made by Biscuits for the community. Looks like they got the winter version. Oops. So Mr. Oso is playing as the Gray Mongols, and Niaz is playing as the Blue Georgians. So I'm going to switch over to Niaz's point of view. I think Georgians are a bit broken. So they are a defensive and cavalry civilization. They start with a free mule cart. That is pretty powerful. Fortified churches provide villagers a work rate boost. The units take less damage when fighting from higher elevation. Their cavalry regenerate. What is this? What is Niaz doing? Just sending the mule cart out here for some exploration, I guess. I don't know what that was. Because he's got a scout of his own. Oh, he's laming. He's laming Mr. Oso. He stole a sheep. Mr. Oso coming over here with the Mongols. I think he got first hit. He's trying to take the boar, maybe? I don't know. So, no ships on this one. Unless somebody were to fish one of these holes out and build a dock here and then build a ship or two out of that dock. But in that case, it's limited to, you know, just basically one tile. Can't really do anything or go anywhere fancy. Mr. Oso VC8 going to take this boar. And Mongols, of course, they take hunted meat much faster. So, you know, he could click up pretty quick. They just... Hunted meat just evaporates underneath Mongolian town centers. It's crazy how quickly they take it. So, Mr. Oso could do a scout rush. Or he could do some really fast archer rush. I mean, you never know. Neon's a very fast player. He's just going to push these deer in. Other than that, I mean, it's just like an open land map. It's kind of like them playing Arabia, really. There are some bonus food in the river that you could take. But I don't know. They probably have enough food already. They don't really have to go out there. We'll see. I haven't seen many people go out here for this. But this map by Biscuits is special because it's got several different seasons associated with it. And you don't know which season it's going to be when the map generates. So it could be the totally frozen hard winter version, like the one that we have here. It could just be the version where there's a single or a couple crossings. It could be the version where this is all deep water, where you can't cross at all and you need to have ships. Or it could be the version with shallows, where you could cross anywhere. So, you know, it's kind of like our mega random. You know, every season we generally every season we have one of those maps that's just plain weird. And this is the weirdest one that we have this season. Mr. Oso probably going to push in this last deer. Yeah, might as well. He's already out there, right? Mr. Oso is 40% of the way up to the feudal age. You know, just classic Mongol things. He's doing a 16-pop Mongol scout rush, presumably. Just crazy, right? Just crazy stuff. Mongolian privilege. And here comes a villager to build a barracks. And then he's going to build a stable shortly thereafter. And make some lightning scouts. And maybe Niaz will be ready for it, maybe not. Niaz is making a barracks himself. And Niaz is halfway up to the feudal age. He's patrolling this area to keep that villager safe. So Mr. Oso gets to the feudal age. And I think he force drops this lumber camp now and builds the stable. He gets loom. Yep. There it is. Oh, we were looking at Neoz's resources. He probably was fine. And he could even... I've sometimes even seen players build like the stable with 2 or 3 villagers just to get up sooner. And it's going to be scouts from Neoz. So it's going to be scouts versus scouts. Mr. Oso with some very fast scouts. Stable goes up. Mr. Oso is already able to queue a scout. And he's still got some sheep, too. Still got a couple sheep in there. So, you know, he's going to be able... He's not going to have a lot. He's, you know, it's tough. When you go up that early, you don't have a lot of villagers working during your advancement period, so you have fewer resources, and therefore your rush is not as strong, but what makes it strong is the fact that it's happening earlier. So he's probably only going to have 3 or 4 scouts in this scout rush total. Actually, it almost looks like he's canceled it, which is kind of interesting. And he's throwing down a lot more walls. So this is going to be the big tell. He is not making any more scouts. He's just got these 2 scouts. That's it. He did all of that for 1 scout? Really? He did. Mr. Oso changed his mind. Let's see if Neoz changed his mind. Neoz is still making scouts. I don't know how many scouts Neoz has. And I don't know what happened to... Okay, there they are. So he's got 3 scouts. So Neoz is and he's making a 4th. So he's truly doing... He's actually got 5. So he's doing a true scout rush. And Mr. Oso was going to do an early scout rush and then changed his mind. He's coming up here to... plug this up. Okay, now there still is a gap, but it's not as egregious now. And he, luckily, for Mr. Oso, Neoz is coming down this way first. This is a beautiful map. Yes, it is. It's a good map. And Mr. Oso is able to finish up the wall. So if these scouts had gone this way first, the wall may not have been finished in time, but as fate would have it, Mr. Oso finished his wall. So Neoz, recognizing that there's no way in, he's going to try to make a way in. And Mr. Oso sending some villagers to house wall behind this. A couple of spearmen come. So Mr. Oso has not spent nearly as many resources as Neoz has on Scout Rush. So Neoz made all these scouts, but he can't really get in and kill anything. So Mr. Oso may appreciate that he can get to Castle Age faster. So he's forcing a lot of houses. Mr. Oso is never going to be housed. And I don't detect any other type of unit from Neoz. I don't see any skirm or anything like that, other than the occasional spearman ambling around here, making sure that Neoz wins any scout fight or has a unit that can deal with enemy spearmen. Mr. Oso plugged this up. He saw that that was open. And he's going to plug this area too, or he's going to reinforce this back wall with a blacksmith and a house. Presumably he'll build another house right there. Neo's deciding, not worth the effort. Gonna look for another way in. And Mr. Oso's looking pretty close to click up to the Castle Age. see where Niaz is at. Niaz is actually not too far behind himself. Niaz's wall is not as strong as Mr. Oso's wall, because Niaz is on the offensive. Niaz still got a sheep that he lamed, but hasn't used. It's simple and clean and natural looking. Yes, it is. It's how Biscuits likes it. Alright, so Mr. Oso building some archery ranges in the back, and he is hiding those ranges from his opponent. So instead of using these archery ranges as part of his wall, he is building them in a place where his opponent cannot see them. Given the area of the map that his opponent has access to. So this tells me that this is going to be a cavalry archer switch. And he is heavily on gold here to be able to support cavalry archer production. Now his opponent could scout all these gold miners and know, it's probably cavalry archers. Mongols actually get decent foot archer upgrades. I think they get everything for Arbalister except the final armor upgrade. But he wants the mobility. He wants to be able to run over here and do whatever he wants quickly before his opponent can react. So Mr. Oso is going to be Castle Age in just a few seconds, but Niaz is really only right behind him. So it's not too huge of an advantage. It's just that I guess Mr. Oso is going to build a town center here. As soon as he gets up to the next stage, because he deleted. There's no other reason to delete the lumber camp there, other than to make space for a town center. Alright, so let's take a look at Mr. Oso's production. Yeah, Mr. Oso's got the cavalry archers being trained. He's using a stable to research husbandry, which will make those cavalry archers faster. And what is Niaz doing? Niaz is adding 2 town centers. So one back here for a wood line, and another one over here for another wood line, and to kind of box in this gold, make it a little bit safer. And he's literally got spearmen everywhere. Alright, Mr. Oso going to show the CA now. Niaz reacting quite quickly, actually, pulling the pointy boys back. Niaz has gotten the light cav upgrade. I don't think that was worth it. He didn't even kill anything. And even if he had, why show now? Niaz is going to have all the time in the world to react. Not that Niaz is really in that great of a danger anyway. Like, what would he do differently? He'd just be like, oh, my opponent's going CA, so what? He doesn't have anything to emergency wall, doesn't have any counters to tech into. He's basically already making the unit he wants to make. Doesn't seem to be interested in making skirmishers at all. But he is making another fortified church. So the fortified church could fire at these cav archers if they get too close. Now, strangely enough, Niaz has... I don't understand this at all. I don't know why Niaz sent that villager forward. Maybe he was just trying to zone off some more area to make a safe economy in. And he builds these foundations so that he can get away from the cav archers. He actually probably would not have gotten away from the cav archers without those foundations. And he deletes them. It was never really about having a house wall there. Or maybe it was. I mean, he's sending the villager back, so I don't know. Guess he does need that house there. I don't know why he deleted those if his plan was just rebuild, unless he's going to build some palisades or something in here. Part of his wall. Alright, so we got a monk here. Well, we had a monk there. Niaz trying to get the relics to get a relic victory countdown, but Mr. Oso not going to allow it this time. Niaz has already gotten seemingly 1 relic, and Mr. Oso wants to make sure that Niaz doesn't get any more. I think the best way to do that is to make your own monks, but so far, no evidence of monkery from Mr. Oso VC8. Let's check the villager count. Mr. Oso with 57 villagers and Niaz with 58. So the score appears to be derived from the fact that Mr. Oso has 6 units for every 1 military unit that Niaz has. He outnumbers him. Now it's 4-1. But even still, it's a lot. Now, is Mr. Oso going to stumble upon this monk? Luckily, he's coming back around here to check to see if Niaz sees him. Niaz is like, I'm getting out of here. But the monk is slow and does not manage to escape. So Mr. Oso says, I'll take that 100 gold off of your chest. I'll kill that 100 gold unit for free, no problem. And that's the power of cavalry archers. A mobile unit. Not really good, you know, if an engagement is forced, but if they can fight on their own terms, they're very good. You know, because they're not even melee units. They can deal damage without having to take damage. Sometimes you take damage in them if you want to deal more damage, and you can afford to take some damage, but they don't have to. They can run away from pretty much anything. And also, Mr. Oso just seems to have... He's a bloodhound for these monks. He just seems to know when Niaz is going to come out here and grab relics. He's got a little timer maybe to figure out how long it takes to make a monk, and then assumes that Niaz will send the monk out around within that time frame. And now he's going to split up his cav archers. Nope. He's going to keep them together. Going to keep them together. Niaz still has the villager lead, though, over Mr. Oso. Here we got the... You guys can see the new monk skins. He's got all these feathers and stuff coming off him. He's more like a shaman than anything else. And Mr. Oso has built this wacky-looking monastery. You guys remember when the Mongolian monastery looked like a Chinese monastery? It looked like an actual Chinese-type building. Not anymore. Now it's a some kind of igloo made out of stone. And we got a bunch of villagers running forward to build a castle. Now, can Niaz see this castle? That is the question. Yes, he can. Niaz has gotten Town Watch and maybe even Town Patrol. So he's got excellent vision radius on his buildings. He knows this castle is going up. He's building a castle of his own to defend this fortified church. He's got this other fortified church, which actually does not have any relics in it. Wait, did Niaz not get any relics at all? I don't think Niaz got any relics at all. Ooh, this is sneaky. Mangonel comes out here, and the villagers decide to charge it. Ooh, those two villagers go down, and the cavalry archers are able to eventually take down the Mangonel. There are a lot of them here. So Mr. Oso's castle goes up, but I think Mr. Oso is actually going to get all of the relics. And guys, remember that Alchemy League is standard victory condition. And yeah, Mr. Oso, he even knows about this relic. He's coming over here with his shaman to pick it up. Guy's like, I'm going to carry this shield and this feathery stick out here and pick up this relic with. And there's one more relic right here. I don't know if Mr. Oso... Oh, yeah, okay. He knows about it. Of course he knows about it. He's a 2K3 player. He knows everything. Yeah, his scouting is excellent. He found all the relics. So that's going to be 5 relics total, which is the usual number of relics for a 1v1. Hey, the otter... What? The otter one? What are you doing here? Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see you, but Otter, isn't it like 2 a.m. for you? Niaz. Yeah, this is the second game in the set. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I will just say that Mr. Oso VC8 learned the importance of relics. And now Mr. Oso VC8 has made a priority to get the relic victory himself. So now Mr. Oso VC8 is on a countdown for relics, I think. Although I don't see the timer. Oh, you know what? I bet we have to come over here to Mr. Oso's point of view. Wait, no, maybe we have to go to Niaz's point of view to see it. And you wonder why you have no viewers. Well, I mean, it's a good time for somebody, right? It's a good time for somebody. It's a recording, be up on YouTube. People can watch it whenever they want. I don't do this for the viewers. I probably should be trying to do this for the viewers. I really do this because I want to set an example. Because I've made it an initiative. I think it's important to try to get as much Alchemy League content covered as possible. I mean, people worked hard to bring this together. Not just me organizing the tournament, but also all the map makers, all the players, and scheduling. And we should try to do our best if we can to create video of people trying the maps out, people playing. And in order for me to ask other people to cast Alchemy League, I have to cast a certain number of games myself. So that's really why I do this. Algorithm sends me here from SF2 trailer, and I get shamed. What's the SF2 trailer? No shame, Otter. I'm just surprised to see you. I'm happy to see you. But it is like 2 a.m. for you. And Mr. Oso decides he's going to build a second castle here. And he's just... Your video quality is better, but once someone is in chat, it's no reason to stop casting the guy. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, so I was just going to say that Mr. Oso... So Mr. Oso, I don't really think that like playing a defensive castle battle against the Georgians is a winning strat. I don't think Mr. Oso is doing this for the purposes of crushing or defeating Niaz. I don't think he can defeat Niaz long term. Maybe he can. Niaz is he's just insane with macro. I've casted some of his games before. He literally has like filled up the entire map, and like he's controlling every single one of his buildings at the same time, and he knows where everything's. It's just the guy's crazy. He's 2K4. I think that Mr. Oso's plan is just like let's get this really good stronghold on this hill with a bunch of trebuchets to slow down my opponent's trebuchets, and let's just be a massive nuisance on my opponent while we wait for the relic victory to come in. Let's check. You know, he's kind of... I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Maybe he really does want to kill his opponent. Maybe he doesn't care if Niaz comes in and snipes this monastery and resets the relic counter. I would care. I'd be like building stone walls all over the place. Maybe Mr. Oso is just confident enough. He's like, I'm just going to crush my opponent. I got all the relics, and I just did that for the gold. I don't need the win condition. I know. I see the relic too, but I don't know where the timer is. I could try cycling through this to see if that renders the timer. No timer render. I don't know if it's a bug or something, but we don't know how much time is left, which is kind of funny. But then again, it is an old recording, so maybe what happened is because this was played on an older version of the game, there's like some kind of bug that relics timers don't show. That's my best guess. Is the reason that there is no timer is because this was played on a previous patch. Oh, I'm sure that it is on. I'm sure that it's on. I'm sure that they played on standard victory condition. We'll just come here to confirm it. Victory condition... Conquest. Oh, no! They played on Conquest. Never mind. Alright. Well, that's the problem. Check Mr. Oso's point of view. Yeah, I checked Mr. Oso's point of view. It doesn't show up on either one. So they accidentally picked Conquest. Okay, never mind. So Mr. Oso doesn't care about the relic victory because he doesn't see a timer either. It's not a spectator bug from casting a previous version of the game. They just picked the wrong setting. Am I going to punish that? No, probably not. If they were like doing it intentionally, I would. In the past, I've punished maps, like if they don't play the right map, but the map is a much bigger deal than failing to pick standard victory condition. Weird that it still shows the logo, the relic logo. Yeah, I don't know. That is strange. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's basically like, who cares if you got all the relics, right? It's not triggering a victory condition. It's just information that that person is getting all of the relic gold. You know, for the Alchemy League Season 8 maps, you know, there are a lot of settings that you have to pick. You have to pick sudden death. You have to pick regicide. You have to pick King of the Hill. And on these maps, I did a rule change in the setup that, you know, if the players didn't pick the right lobby settings, the game would automatically abort after launch. But one of the things that I couldn't do for the Season 8 maps was I could not force them to detect... I don't think it's possible to detect whether or not standard victory condition is enabled. And there's sort of like a... almost like an ethical quandary with that. You know, is that really... not ethical, but like moral quandary. Is it the right thing to do to force a map to be standard victory? You know, because technically these maps... we make them and we'd like for people to be able to play them under any setting they want. But for that case, those maps are just like such a chaotic crapshoot. Like, this is Plan D. You know, we're just rushing to get it through. We don't necessarily approve these for all possible settings. You know, this is not really made for 4v4 or whatever. Maybe it makes more sense on those maps to make an exception, especially given the large number of settings that people have to remember to enable. More money for me, says the Otter one. What are you talking about? Yeah, Otter, about that. It'll be about the same. It'll be about the same. I bumped it up because Niaz has a counteroffensive. Oh, yeah, he does. Thank you, Otter. I was just... Niaz came over here and he built a castle. He has this counteroffensive the whole time. And yeah, there's stuff going on over here. And Mr. Oso came over here with some heavy cavalry archers. And he wanted to shut it down. Okay, he finds this. And this is going to be a lot of 3 villagers. Yeah, in the past I penalized a quarter admin penalty for wrong map. So Mr. Oso clearing that out. Niaz is able to repair this castle. I don't know that these cavalry archers care. There's just so many of them. You know, maybe he just comes in here and he tries to kill as many villagers as he can. He doesn't care if he loses cavalry archers. Just clears out the trebuchet. And yeah, Niaz calls the GG. So Mr. Oso kind of tricked Niaz a little bit. You know, he went up super fast to the feudal age, and Niaz assumed that he was getting 16 pop scout rushed. Mr. Oso even made an extra scout to add to the deception, but really he may have changed plans, but then he just walled and he let Niaz attack his walls with all the full scouts that Niaz went, and that slowed Niaz down to castle age, and Mr. Oso was able to get all of the relics and just rake in all of that gold. Mr. Oso slowly making progress over here. So well played from Mr. Oso. He took a game off of Niaz. And Niaz has been needing harder opponents. Because we can't really challenge him very much. I guess we in a different way we can challenge him, because Niaz needs... because he's so much better than everybody else, he needs a much higher win rate in order to win money. And he can achieve that win rate if it goes well. Which sometimes it does. Let's take a look at the military. Okay, look at these. Look at this KD here for Mr. Oso. These cavalry archers, oppressive cavalry archers, 2-to-1 kill to death ratio. Buildings raised of 36. Economy. Niaz having more food and wood. Mr. Oso having more stone and gold. Technology. Mr. Oso collecting more... well, he's to the feudal age faster and to the castle age faster, only slightly. Niaz faster to the imperial age. Mr. Oso explored 96% of the map. Yes, they will be. They will be incredible. They both had 4 castles maximum. Mr. Oso collecting all 5 relics for 2.2k relic gold. Niaz with more villagers, 136. So those are some pretty good games. It's fun to cast. Let's see. We casted Nope 1585 versus Cesar. And we casted Niaz versus Mr. Oso. So I will try to bring you guys some more Alchemy League content. I'm going to be quite busy helping to prepare some of these old custom maps that we grabbed from 2020 for the next season of the league. I'm going to try to get as much of the unfairness out of them as I can, as is kind of reasonable. I thought maybe I should just make my own version of all these maps, like have Tech Arabia, have Tech Oasis, have Tech Gold Rush, all these other things. And I never really wanted to do that in the past. Maybe I'm wishing now that I had done that a long time ago. I generally don't like to create standard maps. I like to do my own thing. So anyway, but I'm going to try to get at least a couple more casts in. I also have a few projects with automating the rewards portion. There was one thing I was going to mention though, and that is that before we close, since I know that the Otter one is here. So the prize pool for Alchemy League Season 8 is larger by the average amount of transaction fees that are paid. So basically, for the past year, on average, the transaction fee is $1.50, $1.50 US to convert currency over to somebody else's currency. So all that is basically taking the transaction fee and the total transaction fees. So if you figure if each season has 16 winners, and adding 16 times 1.5 is 24, and adding that onto 240, and that becomes $264. And then we just did a rule change that says that the participant pays the transaction fee, which is deducted from their winnings. So it's basically the same. So it's not that the players are getting any more money from winning. It's just a little bit more transparent how much I'm putting into it, I guess. And then we're also giving the players a little bit more skin in the game to help us find what is the most efficient way to transfer funds over. Because if folks can think of a better way than, that's cheaper than PayPal, then we can go with that, and they can end up with a larger portion of the rewards. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned to the Otter one, to be fully transparent about it. So I intentionally added it on so that it would come out to be about the same. All right, so thank you guys. Don't forget to sign up for Alchemy League Season 8. As you may have heard, we took some custom maps, or some standard maps from 2020, and they're very old, very classic, and we did a bunch of rule changes to maximize the number of ways that somebody could possibly be defeated. So you got to have Regicide, you got to have King of the Hill, you got this tower that's 30 tiles away from your town center that you got to defend, you got sudden death, you got the relic victory, you got a monument in the middle. There's all kinds of ways to die, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then we got the Alaska maps planned for after that. So be sure to go and sign up for Alchemy League Season 8. You can find a link to the handbook or to sign-ups through the link that is attached in this video. I'll try to get a couple more casts in for Alchemy League Season 7, because we did have a lot of people work hard on these remastered Ensemble Studios maps as well. So thank you guys so much. We really work hard to give you guys a unique, competitive Age of Empires 2 experience, and really appreciate all the support that you've given. So thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you again soon.